Welcome back to State Quarter. What if I told you that some Kennedy half dollars sitting in your drawer right now, ordinary-looking coins most people overlook, could be worth tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars? Just the right mint mark, flawless condition, and suddenly you're holding a six-figure treasure in your hand. Don't underestimate your change. Your fortune could be hiding in plain sight. Let's moving on. First up, today we're diving deep into one of the most misunderstood modern U.S. coins out there, the 1974 United States John F. Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark, and why, under the right conditions, this coin can command between thousands of dollars. Now first, let's get something clear. When we say no mint mark on a 1974 Kennedy half dollar, we're talking about a coin struck in Philadelphia. In 1974, the Philadelphia Mint did not place a mint mark on circulating half dollars. So at first glance, that sounds common. And in lower grades, it absolutely is. Millions were made. You can still find worn examples worth only face value or just a small premium. But here's where things get serious. The real story is condition. In coin collecting, condition is everything. And when it comes to the 1974 no mint mark Kennedy half dollar, ultra-high-grade examples are unbelievably rare. Most of these coins entered circulation immediately. They were used, handled, tossed into cash registers, and stored in bags. Because of that, finding one in pristine, untouched, flawless condition is incredibly difficult today. We're talking about coins graded at the very top of the scale, Mint State 67, Mint State 68, and beyond. Coins with blazing original luster. Sharp, fully struck details in Kennedy's hair. No major contact marks on the cheek, which is one of the most sensitive areas on this design. Clean fields with no distracting scratches. Strong eye appeal. No dullness. No haze. No ugly toning. The obverse of the coin features President John F. Kennedy facing left, with the word Liberty across the top, In God We Trust split across the lower field, and the date 1974 at the bottom. Since there's no mint mark below Kennedy's neck, that confirms it's a Philadelphia issue. The reverse shows the presidential seal, the eagle holding arrows and an olive branch, shield on its chest, with United States of America and half dollar around the rim. On high-grade coins, every feather should be sharp, and the lines in the shield should be crisp and well-defined. Now let's talk about strike quality. The 1974 Philadelphia half dollars are known for sometimes having softer strikes, especially in Kennedy's hair above the ear and around the temple. That means fully struck examples are even more desirable. When you combine a strong strike with flawless surfaces and booming mint luster, you're looking at a coin that stands out dramatically from the typical examples collectors see. And then there's demand. Kennedy half dollars have one of the strongest collector bases in the United States. They are affordable in most grades, widely collected by date and mint mark, and they carry emotional value because of President Kennedy's legacy. But serious registry set collectors, the ones competing for the absolute finest graded coins, will pay extreme premiums for the best-known examples. These collectors are not looking for average. They want the best of the best. The top pop. The highest certified grade available. When a 1974 no mint mark Kennedy half dollar earns an elite grade from a top-tier grading service and becomes one of the finest known examples, it enters a completely different price category. It's no longer just a half dollar. It becomes a trophy coin. Let's break down the numbers clearly. In circulated condition, this coin might be worth face value or slightly above. In standard uncirculated grades like MS63 or MS64, it may sell for a modest premium. Even in MS65 or MS66, you're usually looking at hundreds, maybe a few $1,000s depending on eye appeal. But in extreme high grades, the absolute top of the population reports, auction records have pushed values into the six-figure range. The finest known 1974 no mint mark Kennedy half dollars have reached an astonishing market range of $100,000 to $120,000 when two determined bidders compete for registry supremacy. That kind of price doesn't happen by accident. It happens because the coin is nearly perfect. Almost no visible flaws. Incredible luster. Exceptional eye appeal. And most importantly, extreme rarity at that specific grade level. Another factor that can increase desirability is special toning. Natural, attractive rainbow toning, especially if it enhances the design rather than distracts from it, can drive prices even higher. But the toning must be natural and appealing. Artificial color will hurt value, not help it. Also, be cautious about raw coins. Just because a 1974 half dollar looks shiny doesn't mean it's worth big money. Cleaning, polishing, or even light wiping can dramatically reduce value. Professional grading is essential for any coin that you believe might be high grade. Authentication and certification are what unlock top auction results. So what should you do? If you have rolls of 1974 half dollars, examine them carefully under good lighting. Look for sharp details. Look for clean surfaces. Tilt the coin to see how the light reflects off the luster. Avoid coins with obvious scratches on Kennedy's cheek. Avoid dull or lifeless examples. If you truly believe you found an A-perfect coin, consider submitting it for professional grading. The reality is, most 1974 no-mint mark Kennedy half dollars will never be worth six figures. But a tiny handful, the absolute finest survivors, already have proven that this modern coin can compete with some of the most valuable pieces in the Kennedy series. And that's what makes this coin so exciting. It's modern. It's obtainable. It's still out there. Yet in elite condition, it transforms into a six-figure powerhouse. The difference between 50 cents and $120,000 comes down to condition, rarity at grade, and collector demand. So before you overlook that 1974 half dollar in your collection, take a closer look. Because sometimes the coins that seem ordinary are the ones hiding extraordinary potential. If you love discovering hidden value in everyday American coins, make sure you're paying attention to every detail. The next record-breaking coin might already be in your hands. You just have to recognize it. Next up, take a deep breath and imagine this for a second. You're flipping through a stack of old half dollars, maybe coins you pulled from a bankroll or inherited from a family member. They look ordinary. Nothing flashy. Just another Kennedy half. And then you notice the date, 1977. No mint mark. Most people would shrug and move on. But what if I told you that in the right condition, that exact coin has reached between $80,000 and $90,000? Today we're talking about the 1977 United States John F. Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark, a modern coin that proves value is not always about age. Sometimes, it's about perfection. Let's clear up the basics first. In 1977, half dollars struck at the Philadelphia Mint did not carry a mint mark. So when you see a 1977 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark under Kennedy's neck on the obverse, that means it was made in Philadelphia. Denver coins from that year carry a D. But the Philadelphia pieces? Blank. No letter. Now here's where collectors get serious. The 1977 no mint mark Kennedy half dollar was produced in large numbers. Millions were struck for circulation. That means worn examples are everywhere. In circulated condition, this coin is very common. You might find them in junk silver bins, coin jars, or dealer boxes. In those grades, they are not rare. But when we shift the conversation to condition, specifically ultra-high mint state grades, everything changes. The Kennedy half dollar design is beautiful, but it's also unforgiving. The large portrait of President John F. Kennedy makes every tiny flaw stand out. The cheek area is broad and open, which means even the smallest contact mark is obvious. Bag marks from the mint, small ticks from other coins, or light abrasions instantly reduce the grade. Most 1977 half dollars were stored in bags, shipped in bulk, and handled without special care. That led to heavy contact marks. Finding one that somehow escaped all of that damage is incredibly difficult today. In top-tier mint state condition, the coin must have blazing original luster, that bright, cartwheel shine that moves across the surface when tilted under light. The strike must be sharp. Kennedy's hair above the ear should show strong detail. The lettering of Liberty should be crisp and clean. In God We Trust must be fully defined without weakness. The fields, the flat areas around the portrait, must be smooth and free from distracting marks. Flip the coin over and the presidential seal on the reverse tells the same story. The eagle's feathers should be bold and clear. The shield lines sharp. The olive branch and arrows well defined. Any dullness, haze, or heavy marks will hold the coin back from elite grades. And here's the key. At the very top of the grading scale, populations drop dramatically. While thousands may exist in average uncirculated condition, only a tiny number reach the highest certified levels. When a coin becomes one of the finest known examples graded by a major third-party service, it enters a completely different marketplace. That marketplace is driven by registry collectors, serious competitors who want the highest graded coin for every date in the series. They are not satisfied with nice. They want best known. And when two registry collectors go head-to-head at auction, prices can explode. The 1977 no mint mark Kennedy half dollar is especially challenging in top grades because of strike softness and heavy bag marking typical for that year. Truly flawless examples are almost unheard of. That rarity at grade is what fuels demand. Another factor that can increase appeal is exceptional eye appeal. Some high-grade examples show vibrant, natural toning, soft gold, electric blues, or subtle rainbow hues around the edges. When that toning is natural and enhances the look of the coin, it can add major premium value. But originality is critical. Cleaned or artificially toned coins lose credibility fast. Authentication and professional grading are absolutely essential for a coin at this level. Raw coins, even if they look impressive, cannot command top auction prices without certification. Serious buyers demand assurance that the grade is accurate and the surfaces are untouched. Now let's talk about the part that really matters, the numbers. In circulated condition, the 1977 no mint mark Kennedy half dollar is typically worth face value. In lower mint state grades like MS63 or MS64, you may see modest premiums. Even in strong uncirculated grades like MS65 or MS66, the value usually stays within a reasonable range for most collectors. But when a 1977 no mint mark example reaches the absolute top of the grading scale, the finest certified population level, auction records have shown stunning results in the range of $80,000 to $90,000. That kind of price is not for an average coin. It is reserved for a nearly perfect survivor with virtually flawless surfaces, booming luster, sharp strike, and elite certification. It represents the intersection of rarity, demand, and condition at the highest level. So what does this mean for you? It means don't overlook modern coins. Don't assume a coin from the 1970s can't be valuable. Take a closer look at your 1977 half dollars. Examine them under strong light. Rotate them slowly. Look at Kennedy's cheek. Look for clean fields and strong detail. If you truly believe you have an exceptional piece, professional grading could unlock serious potential. Most of these coins will never reach that elite status. But a tiny handful already have, and that's what makes this coin exciting. It's modern enough that examples are still out there, but rare enough in top condition to command incredible respect in the market. Sometimes value isn't hiding in ancient history. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight, in a coin people overlook every day. And the next time you see a 1977 Kennedy half dollar with no mint mark, don't just see 50 cents. See possibility. Next up. What if I told you that a half dollar from the early 1980s, a coin many people barely pay attention to, has the power to reach the price of a house? Not a rare gold coin from the 1800s. Not a century-old silver treasure. I'm talking about a 1982 United States John F. Kennedy half dollar with a small DE mint mark that, under the right circumstances, has climbed into the $150,000 to $200,000 range. Today, we're taking a serious look at the 1982 D Kennedy half dollar and why this modern issue can shock even experienced collectors. Let's start with the basics. The D mint mark, located just below Kennedy's neck on the obverse, tells us this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. In 1982, half dollars were not widely used in everyday commerce. By this point in time, the denomination had largely fallen out of favor with the public. That meant many coins were struck, but they didn't circulate heavily the way earlier issues did. Here's where it gets interesting. Even though the 1982 D was produced in large numbers, quality control at the mint during the early 1980s was not always ideal. Many coins from this era show weak strikes, heavy contact marks, dull luster, and overall average eye appeal. They were mass-produced, stored in bags, and often acquired by collectors in bulk rolls. But most of those rolls did not contain flawless gems. The Kennedy half dollar design is large and bold. President Kennedy's portrait dominates the obverse, and that large open cheek area is extremely sensitive to even the smallest mark. One tiny nick can prevent a coin from reaching the highest mint state grades. The same goes for the fields, those smooth areas around the design. Any disturbance stands out immediately. On the reverse, the presidential seal with the eagle, shield, arrows, and olive branch demands sharp detail. The feathers must be crisp. The shield lines must be strong. The lettering around the rim must be bold and fully struck. Weakness in strike is common for this year, especially in the hair detail and eagle feathers, making fully struck examples significantly more desirable. Now let's talk about grade, because this is where everything changes. In circulated condition, the 1982 D Kennedy half dollar is worth face value. Even in lower mint state grades like MS63 or MS64, the value is modest. Many uncirculated coins exist. But when you climb into the ultra-high grades, the absolute top certified levels, the population numbers drop dramatically. Coins graded at the very top of the scale must display blazing, uninterrupted cartwheel luster. The surfaces must be nearly flawless. Kennedy's cheek must be exceptionally clean. The strike must be above average for the issue. And the overall eye appeal must be outstanding. We are talking about coins that look almost perfect, even under magnification. For registry set collectors, those serious competitors building the finest possible graded sets, the 1982D presents a major challenge. Because while many examples were saved, very few survived in truly superb condition. Finding one that checks every single box is extremely difficult. And that difficulty fuels demand. When a coin becomes one of the finest known examples certified by a major grading service, it instantly enters elite territory. At that point, it is no longer competing with average uncirculated coins. It is competing for the #1 slot in registry rankings. That's where the serious money comes into play. Another factor that can boost desirability is exceptional originality. Coins with natural, vibrant toning, soft gold, subtle rainbow bands, or deep peripheral color can stand out dramatically if the toning enhances the design. But originality is critical. Clean coins, polished surfaces, or artificial toning will immediately destroy high-end value. Professional grading is absolutely essential for a coin at this level. Without third-party certification, the market simply will not support six-figure prices. Authentication confirms the coin hasn't been altered, and the assigned grade determines where it stands among the finest known examples. Now let's focus on what truly captures attention, the market reality. Most 1982D Kennedy half dollars are common. Most will never be worth more than a small premium. But when an example surfaces that ranks at the absolute top of the population reports, with nearly flawless surfaces, exceptional strike, and outstanding eye appeal, auction results have demonstrated that values can reach an astonishing $150,000 to $200,000 when competitive bidding takes place. That level of price is driven by rarity at grade, registry competition, and the intense demand for the best of the best. It represents a modern coin achieving elite collectible status purely because of condition and scarcity at the highest certified levels. So what should you do if you have 1982D half dollars? Examine them carefully under strong light. Tilt the coin and watch how the luster moves. Look closely at Kennedy's cheek and jawline. Check for clean, uninterrupted surfaces. Study the reverse feathers and shield lines. If you believe you found an exceptional piece, consider professional grading. The difference between an average mint state coin and a top pop example can mean the difference between a small premium and a life-changing result. The 1982D Kennedy half dollar proves something powerful about modern coin collecting. Age alone does not create value. Rarity at the highest level of preservation does. Perfection is rare, even in modern coins. And sometimes, the coin that looks the most ordinary at first glance turns out to be the one with extraordinary potential. So the next time you see that small D mint mark under Kennedy's neck on a 1982 half dollar, don't dismiss it. Look closer. Because in the world of elite coin collecting, perfection can turn 50 cents into a six-figure masterpiece. Next up, close your eyes for a second and picture this. A modern coin. Not silver. Not ancient. Not from the 1960s. A 1991 half dollar. A coin many Americans barely remember seeing in circulation. Now imagine that same coin, with a small P mint mark, selling for as much as $45,000 to $60,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But in the world of elite coin collecting, that's exactly what can happen when condition, rarity at grade, and collector demand collide. Today we're diving deep into the 1991 United States John F. Kennedy half dollar with a P mint mark, a modern issue that proves value doesn't always come from age. Sometimes, it comes from absolute perfection. The P mint mark, located just below Kennedy's neck on the obverse, tells us this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. By 1991, half dollars were no longer widely used in everyday transactions. Most Americans didn't carry them. They weren't common in change. Many were saved in rolls or mint-sewn bags, but that doesn't automatically mean they were preserved perfectly. Here's why. Even though these coins were modern, they were still mass-produced. They were stored in large quantities, stacked, counted, and shipped. Contact marks were common. The large portrait of President John F. Kennedy makes every flaw stand out instantly. His cheek, smooth and open, acts like a mirror for imperfections. One small nick can separate an average mint state coin from a top-tier gem. When you look at a 1991 P. Kennedy half dollar, the first thing to examine is the luster. A truly elite example will have strong, uninterrupted cartwheel luster that spins across the surface under light. The shine should look alive, not dull or faded. The surfaces must be clean. No noticeable scuffs. No heavy bag marks. No distracting scratches in the fields. Next comes the strike. In 1991, strike quality was generally decent, but not all coins are equal. The hair above Kennedy's ear should show clear separation and detail. The lettering in Liberty must be bold and crisp. In God We Trust should appear sharp and fully formed. On the reverse, the presidential seal must display strong feather detail on the eagle, defined shield lines, and clean fields around the design. Most 1991p half dollars fall into what collectors would call average uncirculated condition. They look nice at first glance, but under magnification, marks become obvious. That's why the population numbers drop sharply when you climb into the highest mint state grades. And that's where the real story begins. At the very top of the grading scale, the finest certified examples, the 1991p becomes surprisingly scarce. Registry collectors, who compete for the best graded set of Kennedy half dollars, are constantly searching for coins that rank at the top of the population reports. If only a handful of coins exist in the highest grade, competition becomes intense. When two serious collectors want the same top pop coin, price stops being about face value or even normal collector value. It becomes about prestige. It becomes about owning the finest known example for that year and mint. Eye appeal plays a huge role as well. Some high-end 1991p examples show beautiful, natural toning, soft gold around the edges, subtle blues, or even light rainbow shades. If the toning is original and attractive, it can significantly increase desirability. But originality is critical. Clean coins or artificially enhanced surfaces lose serious credibility in the high-end market. Professional grading is absolutely essential at this level. Without certification from a respected grading service, a coin cannot command elite auction prices. Authentication guarantees the coin is genuine and unaltered. The assigned grade determines whether it's just another mint state example, or one of the finest known. Now let's talk about what really captures attention, the value. In circulated condition, the 1991p Kennedy half dollar is worth face value. In lower uncirculated grades like MS63 or MS64, it may sell for a modest premium. Even in strong mint state grades like MS65 or MS64, it may sell for a modest premium. Even in strong mint state grades like MS65 or MS66, values remain within reach for many collectors. But when a 1991p example reaches the absolute highest certified grades, with nearly flawless surfaces, exceptional luster, sharp strike, and elite eye appeal, auction records have shown that prices can climb into the $4,000 to $5,000 to $60,000 range when serious registry collectors compete. That kind of result is reserved for coins that are virtually perfect. Coins that stand out even among other uncirculated examples. Coins that survive 3 decades without significant contact marks or damage. The lesson here is powerful. Modern does not mean common at the highest level. Age does not guarantee value. Condition does. The 1991p Kennedy half dollar proves that even coins from the 1990s can become 5-figure collectibles when preserved in extraordinary condition. If you have rolls of 1991 half dollars, take the time to examine them carefully. Use good lighting. Tilt the coin slowly. Look at Kennedy's cheek. Inspect the fields. Study the reverse details. If you truly believe you found a knee-perfect coin, professional grading could reveal potential you never expected. Most examples will never reach elite status. But a tiny number already have, and that's what keeps collectors searching. Because sometimes, the real treasure isn't hiding in a century-old coin. Sometimes, it's sitting quietly in a modern roll, waiting for someone to recognize perfection. And the next time you see that small P mint mark under Kennedy's portrait on a 1991 half dollar, remember this. In the right condition, that simple coin could represent far more than 50 cents. Next up, let me ask you something. When you hear the year 1996, do you think rare coin? Do you think 5-figure or even 6-figure value? Most people don't. They think modern, common, ordinary. But in the world of serious collectors, the 1996p United States John F. Kennedy half dollar with the P mint mark has proven that even a late 20th century coin can rise to an elite level when the condition is extraordinary. This is not about age. This is not about silver content. This is about quality, the highest quality possible. The P mint mark, located just below Kennedy's neck on the obverse, confirms this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. By 1996, half dollars were barely circulating in everyday commerce. Most were distributed directly to collectors in rolls and bags. That might sound like good news for preservation, but here's the truth: bulk storage still causes problems. Coins rub against each other. They slide, shift, and pick up small nicks and abrasions. And with the Kennedy half-dollar design, even the smallest flaw matters. Look at the obverse. President John F. Kennedy's portrait dominates the coin. His cheek is wide and smooth, almost like a blank canvas. That smooth surface shows every contact mark instantly. A single noticeable nick in the wrong spot can drop the grade significantly. The fields around the portrait must be clean and reflective, with no distracting scratches. Liberty must be sharp and fully struck. In God We Trust must show strong detail with no weakness. Now turn the coin over. The reverse displays the presidential seal, the eagle with outstretched wings, shield on its chest, arrows in one talon, olive branch in the other. On an average example, you'll see minor scuffs in the fields and light friction on the high points. But on a top-tier coin, the feather details are crisp. The shield lines are bold. The lettering United States of America and half dollar is strong and even. The luster flows smoothly across the entire surface. Luster is critical. A true high-end 1996p must have vibrant, uninterrupted cartwheel luster. When you tilt the coin under a light, the shine should roll evenly across both sides. If the luster looks dull, broken, or cloudy, the coin will not reach elite status. Now let's talk about grading, because this is where the 1996p becomes truly fascinating. In circulated condition, it's worth face value. In typical uncirculated grades like MS63 or MS64, it's common. Even in MS65 or MS66, it remains affordable to most collectors. But as you approach the very top of the grading scale, the finest known certified examples, the population numbers shrink dramatically. That's because perfection is rare. Even though many coins were saved, very few survive with virtually flawless surfaces. Tiny ticks from bag storage, slight scuffs from handling, microscopic abrasions that are invisible to the naked eye but obvious under magnification. All of these prevent a coin from reaching the highest grades. Registry set collectors understand this. These are serious collectors building competitive sets where every coin must be the highest graded example available. If only a handful of 1996p half dollars exist at the top grade, those coins become trophies. They are not just coins anymore, they are status symbols in the collecting world. Eye appeal adds another layer. Some 1996p examples develop attractive natural toning over time, soft golden edges, light champagne hues, or subtle rainbow accents. When that toning is natural and enhances the design, it can increase desirability significantly. But originality is everything. Clean coins, polished surfaces, or artificial toning immediately destroy high-end value. Certification by a respected third-party grading service is absolutely required for any coin expected to command premium prices. Without authentication and a confirmed elite grade, the market simply will not support major auction results. Now let's focus on what truly sets this coin apart, its market performance at the highest level. While the vast majority of 1996p Kennedy half dollars trade at modest prices, the finest certified examples, coins at the absolute top of the population reports with near-perfect surfaces, blazing luster, razor-sharp strike, and outstanding eye appeal, have achieved astonishing auction results ranging from $70,000 to $100,000 when competitive bidding pushes the limits. That value is not based on hype. It's based on rarity at grade. When only a tiny number of coins exist in that condition, demand from registry collectors drives prices upward. It becomes a battle for the best. And here's what makes this story so compelling. This is a modern coin. It's not ancient. It's not made of silver. It doesn't look rare at first glance. Yet in elite condition, it stands among some of the most valuable pieces in the Kennedy half dollar series. So what should you do if you own 1996p half dollars? Slow down and examine them carefully. Use bright, direct lighting. Tilt the coin to check the luster. Study Kennedy's cheek for marks. Look at the fields for hairlines or scuffs. Inspect the reverse feathers and shield lines. If you truly believe you have a near-perfect example, professional grading could reveal something extraordinary. Most 1996p half dollars will remain ordinary. But a tiny group has already proven that modern coins can break expectations in a big way. The difference between 50 cents and 5 figures, or even 6 figures, is condition, scarcity at the highest grade, and collector competition. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. Sometimes the real treasure isn't hidden in the distant past. Sometimes it's a modern coin, quietly waiting for someone to recognize just how perfect it really is.